Hello everybody, and welcome to the Singlify Spring 22 release webinar. My name is Guy Clairbois. I'm the CTO of Singlify. In this webinar, we will take you through our newest release and show you all the new functionality we have built in the past couple of months. During the webinar, I will be assisted by Ivy, our head of engineering, and Herbert, one of our senior Salesforce developers. Before we start diving into the details, let me remind you of how Singlify releases work. We have 3 releases per year: winter, spring, and summer. We basically follow the Salesforce release cycle, but tend to plan our releases 1 to 2 months after the main Salesforce release, so we have time to adapt to any new functionality or technical changes. Our winter release is provided in January, spring in May, and summer in September. When we release new functionality, it can basically have 3 different statuses: pilot, beta, or GA, which stands for generally available. Typically, if we first want to test and fine-tune new functionality with a small group of customers, we start in pilot mode. If we have functionality that's already more fleshed out, but not fully functional or finished yet, we can release it in beta mode, so customers can test it out. And lastly, if we have functionality that is ready for production use, we release it as GA. Not all functionality needs to go through all 3 phases. In many cases, functionality will immediately be generally available because the requirements are clear from the start, and we just build and deliver it. As you can see, development for the Spring 22 release was already started back in January, and we are now ready to deploy it to our customers. The release notes have been published, and all documentation was updated on our documentation site. Some customers have already tested the new release in their sandbox. Let us know if you prefer that as well. From next week on, we will be approaching all customers to plan a date and time for the upgrade. So, what is in the release? We have some exciting new features for you. On the area of loan and grant origination, we have made a lot of progress on our document management module, which is now available for everyone to try out. Also, the open banking functionality that Matt demoed to you in the previous webinar is available for everyone to test. And lastly, we have adapted all Singlify, Enquiry, and application forms to be available not only on internal portals, but also on public web pages. Loan servicing is where the bulk of new functionality is being delivered. We have completely new features on loans, like for instance loan locking and APR calculation, but also updates to accounting subledger and to our offline processing capabilities in the shape of Singlify Pulse. And lastly, variable interest products had a number of upgrades and improvements, making them more robust and easier to reschedule. Last but not least, we have built a new mentoring module, which we are piloting with a small number of customers. We will now dive into a number of key new features to explain them further, and in some cases, provide a live demo to show you what we've built. We'll start off with document management. So, particularly as part of loan origination, our customers collect, review, and store many different types of client documents. As the standard Salesforce functionality for this is limited, many customers have asked us to provide a better solution. Therefore, we've built a module by which you can track and store files that belong to an application or an investment, or any other object, as a matter of fact, in a structural way. You can track different document types, so you know what kind of document was uploaded. There is integrated versioning, so you can be sure that there is only one currently active version for each document. You can collect and share the documents on a client portal, so your clients can upload and update their own documents. And you can also add your own custom fields to the document, so you can track your own data, like for instance an approval status or document ratings. As said, this functionality is currently in beta mode, so it's finished and ready to be tried out by any of you. So contact us if you want to be involved. Coming right up, we have a demo by Ivy of the document management functionality. Go ahead, Ivy.
In this video, we are very excited to show you the updates to the document management component. That is now in pilot mode. So let's get started. We'll begin by uploading a new file. Select the file that you want to upload. You then have the option to select the type of file. Please note that this is a custom field and you will be able to edit the values here. So I will select that it's a business plan. You can then enter a short description, as well as you do have the capability now to share the file across your various users, inclusive of your community. So I'll go ahead and say to all users. Great, now that our file has been uploaded, let's get to the fun stuff. In this release, we have added the functionality for you to view file versions. Once you click on that, it will show you all the versions of the file that you have. For this instance, we only have one version. You can then click the preview button, right? And with it, you will be able to view a short preview of the file, as well as some of the metadata associated to that file. You can then click on Edit Details. This will enable you to edit the custom metadata associated with that file. You can click on Public Link. This will generate for you a Salesforce link that you can share with your customers. You can then click on Download, and that will download the file for you as well. You also have the option to upload a new version of the file. You can enter a short description. And you can upload it. So once that has been done, we'll click again on File Versions, and you can now see that we have two versions of the file. I'll go ahead and click on Preview. On the Preview button, I'll then show you how to open a file, which will redirect you to the Salesforce Files functionality. Thank you so much for watching.
Thank you, Ivy. So let's continue with the next subject, which is inquiry and application forms on public web pages. So inquiry and application forms have always been part of the investment application processes of most of our customers. However, the forms were usually hosted on an external application, which requires technical integration into Singlify to get all the inquiries and applications onto the platform. In order to make this process a lot easier, we've implemented the possibility to host Singlify-sourced inquiry and application forms on any public web page. This enables you to capture inquiries and applications directly into Singlify without requiring any integration, logins, or additional licenses. So at the bottom of the screen, you can see an example of an application process that's published on a public web page. Next, we have loan locking or pausing. In some cases, loans can get into a situation where the state of a loan needs to be frozen, or where no fees of a certain kind should be charged during a certain period of time. For instance, when a loan is handed over to a third party for recovery purposes. Our customers have asked us to support this in Singlify, so that all calculations happen automatically and the loan is protected from any unwanted changes or modifications. We've therefore developed loan locking. When locking a loan, you have the option to suspend interest accrual, monitoring fees, and late repayment fees, or any subset of these three. You can also unlock the loan again at a later date if needed. Moreover, we made loan locking and unlocking available via flow actions, which means you can easily use it in your own automation and workflows. Herbert will now give a live demo of loan locking.
Hello, today I'm going to be taking us through loan locking/pausing feature. This is a feature that enables you to temporarily lock/pause a loan, a standard loan or a line of credit loan, with the ability to also unlock at a later date. This is useful in a situation where a loan goes into recovery mode or is handed over to the third party for recovery purposes. When locking a loan, you have the options to suspend interest accrual, suspend monitoring fees, suspend late repayment fees. You can have a subset of all the three, or two, or one. Here's an example of a standard loan before locking, or else after disbursement. All the interest, monitoring fees, late repayment fees are accrued normally up until the current date, as you can see in the screenshot. Here's an example showing repayment schedules after locking. All the interest, monitoring fees, late repayment fees accrued from the lock date up to the current date is paused. As you can see in the screen, we have all the future late repayment schedules set to 0. Otherwise, they were paused. And here is an example showing after unlocking. What we expect is all interest, monitoring fees, late repayment fees accrued from the unlocked date to the current date is all added back to the previous or the expected values, as you can see in the current repayment schedule showing here. And also, loan events are captured showing when the loan was locked and unlocked, as you can see in the screen.
Thanks, Herbert. So let's go to the next subject, which is APR calculation. So APR, which stands for annual percentage rate, represents the cost rate paid each year on an outstanding total loan amount. It's a standard calculation used by lenders designed to help borrowers compare different loan options. In order to help our customers to provide the correct APR to their clients, we've added the possibility to automatically calculate the APR over a Singlify loan schedule. This can be done at any time, for instance upon initial schedule generation or after any reschedule that changes the schedule. The APR calculation is based on the Excel function called XIRR. Ivy will give a live demo of an APR calculation.
In this release, we have provided you with the capability to calculate annual percentage rate, better known as APR. So how have we implemented this? We are using the XIR formula, like Excel, which calculates the internal rate of return for a series of cash flows that may not be periodic. Our system takes into account the following variables. First, we look at what is the loan amount. Next, we look at the setup fee charging method. If it's set to deducted from principal, we sum up the loan amount plus the setup fee charges. We also look at what is the date of disbursement. In addition to that, for each repayment schedule, we pick the due date and sum up the following fields: the principal expected plus the interest expected plus monitoring and setup fees, if applicable. Good news, we've provided this functionality as an invocable method, meaning that you can leverage Salesforce's process automation tools. Like in this video, we used a flow. Now just click on it so that you can see how it works. Voila! And it's as simple as that. We now know that our APR percentage for this loan is 8.1. Thank you.
Thanks again, Ivy. So let's go to the next subject, which is Singlify Pulse. It's a bit of a technical subject, but I'm going to try to take you through it anyway. Loan and grant management processes typically are data and calculation intensive processes, and this can have impact on the user experience if not managed properly. For this reason, Singlify offloads a lot of number crunching to asynchronous processing and to the nightly batch shop. This already happens currently. Singlify Pulse is a new mechanism that controls all of the background jobs that run as part of Singlify operations. This includes the nightly batch jobs that do interest accrual, data aggregation, accounting runs, and similar functionality. And moreover, Singlify Pulse also controls any background processes that run during business hours, such as transaction processing and bulk loan recalculations. By implementing Singlify Pulse, we gather all these processes under one hood and make sure they run correctly and completely for all of our customers without interfering with platform limitations. Singlify Pulse is in beta mode, so it's ready to be tried out by any customer. Contact us if you find this interesting and want to be involved. Let's go to the next one, which is the mentoring module. As you all probably know, mentorship is a vital part of social impact investing. Many customers have expressed the desire to integrate their mentoring efforts into Singlify so that they can have a complete view of their investees in one single system. Therefore, we are providing a new mentoring module, which supports your mentoring and coaching efforts right within Singlify. This new module enables our customers to manage the mentoring needs of investees and connect them to the right mentor. To manage the mentoring relationship, plan meetings and reviews, and to have a full view of all mentoring received by investees and report on the impact of the mentoring on their businesses. This functionality is also currently in pilot mode. We are building and designing the functionality together with a number of customers, but do contact us if you want to be involved. Ivy is going to give a demo of the current state of the mentoring functionality. Go ahead, Ivy.
In this video, I'm going to be walking you through our new mentoring functionality that is in pilot mode. Let's begin. So, all your requests for mentorship will be captured under support requests. In this example, you can see Ivy, who owns Baker's Pride, is requesting for mentorship on social media to assist her to drive the uptake of cakes in the market. You are also able to capture any mentors who would like to join your program. In this example, Guy, who works for Trainers Inc., would like to join your program and has been approved to do so. Your mentoring team is then able to create a mentoring program where they can then match up the relationship between Ivy, the mentee, and Guy, the mentor, so that they can then upskill them with the desired skills. Guy, who is the mentor, is then able to continuously capture session reports to indicate the progress of this mentoring relationship. He is also able to capture any incidences that he would like the mentorship team to address. In this instance, for example, he has captured that Ivy does not show up to meetings as agreed upon. Please note, all the objects shown on this video are highly customizable to fit your business process. Thank you for watching.
And thank you again, Ivy. So what more have we got? We don't have any demos anymore, but we do have an overview of all of the remaining functionality that we've also built. So there's quite a long list of additional improvements that we've made in this release. I will go through them briefly, but please do reach out or consult the documentation site if you want to have more information about any of the features mentioned. So we have a couple of improvements to the loan screen. You can now mark custom fields as required on the loan edit screen. This will show your custom fields as required on the Singlify loan screen. It also includes validation of the fields being filled in before the loan can be saved. We also have some new functionality on the close loan screen, because you can now choose between two different types of closure. You can choose between closed all obligations met and closed early repayment. Earlier on, this was only closed obligations, all obligations met. Another screen improvement that we made is that we now have the next repayment due component available in Experience Cloud, so available in customer portals and communities, so that you can easily show your clients when their next payment is due. On the area of loan workflows, we already have mentioned that you can lock and unlock a loan via invocable actions via flow, but you can also now close or open a loan via invocable actions. So you can incorporate the closure or the reopening of a loan in your automation, in your custom automation. For document generation, we made sharing settings configurable so that you can configure upfront who will be able to see a generated document. So for instance, will your clients be able to see it or not? Then there's a long list of improvements on loan processing. We created a new optional nightly batch job that updates the interest accrual that happens on your repayment schedules on the loan level. We've added a new setting to configure what to do with the last installment period in case it's a lower amount than the rest of the schedule due to, for instance, rounding differences. You can configure it to add to the last installment or create a separate new installment. We created a new variable interest rescheduling setting that allows you to automatically calculate a new installment amount when variable interest rate changes. This also includes an optional delay period for if the rate change needs to be first communicated to the client. We also created a new late repayment fee setting, allowing users to use the loan's interest rate for late repayments as well. This means the late repayment fee will automatically change when the loan interest changes, for instance in case of rescheduling or variable interest rate change. Next, we introduced an automatic cutoff of loan schedules of more than 600 periods. We had to do this because in some cases, if you would schedule a very low installment amount, for instance an installment amount that's less than the periodic interest, an unlimited amount of repayment schedules would be generated, resulting in a system error. Right now, it just cuts off the schedule and allows you to temporarily set a very low installment amount, and if you want afterwards you can again raise the installment amount to the usual or to something else. Then we also introduced the option to not pre-allocate any overpayments. So traditionally any overpayment will be allocated to the future schedule of a loan, to either principal or interest or setup fees. But you now also have the option to save it in an overpaid amount field, and it will only be applied to the schedule whenever any further amounts become due on the repayment schedule. Lastly, we made a small enhancement to automatic rescheduling. So if you decide to revert an automatic reschedule, you can now immediately select to keep the transaction that triggered the automatic reschedule non-reverted. This prevents customers from having to manually reset the transaction to receive, if it indeed was received, but should not trigger an automatic reschedule. So this is quite a list, and I could imagine you have some questions about them. So do reach out to us if you have any questions or worries about this. So let's have a look at what we have planned for the next release for summer 22. On the area of loan and grant origination, we expect file management, or document management as we also call it, and open banking to be a standard part of our product by then, after ironing out the last glitches during the summer. Furthermore, we expect to add some new functionality around managing different contract conditions while setting up a grant or loan contract. And lastly, we will be delivering a first version of a template for a client portal that can be reused and rebranded by any Singlify customer. This template will have predefined components for all interactions between our customers and their investees. For loan servicing, we will keep working on accounting subledger, which turned out to be a major piece of work as it can get quite complex to match all of your requirements. We expect to take a major step there, moving the functionality into beta testing. Next to that, we are adding an early repayment fee automation module that enables our customers to calculate early repayment fees whenever an investee wants to repay their loans ahead of schedule. This can be in the shape of a fixed fee, but also more advanced calculations based on missed interest income in the future, etc. So let us know if you have specific requirements here, as that will enable us to make sure we capture all different flavors of early repayment fees. Lastly, we will build a new submodule for recovery management, adding functionality around managing the process around loan recoveries. On the mentoring and training area, we will finalize our mentoring module and make it generally available. And the training module will basically follow the footsteps of the mentoring module, as we will deliver a pilot version first, then move to GA in the next release. So that's it, folks. I hope you enjoyed the webinar. And as always, if you have any questions about new or upcoming functionality, get in touch with your Singlify representative or contact me directly by email, or you can also contact us at our general email address, info@singlify.app. Just as a last remark, the full product documentation and the whole story that I've told you here, the complete release notes are available on our support site, support.singlify.co.uk. Thank you very much for listening to the end, and I hope to speak to you soon. Bye-bye.